Okay, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, a pleasure receiving you. My understanding is that you are preparing for this big culinary art competition in Miami in November. But prior to that, you're having a function here in Antigua, Taste of Adadley, later this month. So I certainly want to commend you. You know, the culinary aspect of any tourism product is extremely important. People not only travel for the sun, sea, and sand, but they also travel based on good cuisines. And, you know, most tourists like to enjoy the cultural delights, the gastronomical delights of a country. And I believe that we have a lot of work to do to continue to develop, especially our local foods. I know many of you, you know, you cook these international dishes, but the local foods that we produce, which should be part of the whole, let's say, cultural culinary experience, I believe that there's much more to be done. We have this thinking that culture is static. So the same way we prepared fungi, let's say 150 years ago, it's the same way we should prepare it today. And those of you who would have traveled to different properties overseas, the young lady Hermitage, I don't know if you got the opportunity to travel to the property in Spain. I'm sure you'd have experienced the amount of different restaurants in a particular property. They have over 20 restaurants. And what is happening generally with food technology is that there's constant experimentation to improve foods, to improve the presentation, even the smell. As I say, use all of your senses when you eat and drink. So even the plating and so on is very important. But I feel at the local level that we're not seeing the kind of growth and development, even from the standpoint of the proportions and in consideration to that people are a little more health conscious, and we are not as active as our forebears who used to work in the field and required a big bowl of fungi. I don't know, we need that nowadays, so we're expecting you as the leaders in the industry to help us to, I'd say, refine our local foods and to make them a little more acceptable in terms of the quantities, the look, and even the taste for that matter. And I'm not saying this in any pejorative terms to say that our foods are not tasty, but what I'm saying here is that there's always room for improvement. And this idea that you used to roll a ball of fungi in a little pan or saucepan, or even a butter tin for that matter years ago, and that you must continue it in the 21st century, I know that represents growth. And anything that does not grow cannot thrive and eventually dies. So the culture must continue to improve. When you look at some of the sophisticated foods that are sold in the Nobus, the Cipriani, and so on, the Zumas, they evolve over time and through experimentation. And I'm hoping that even our hotels, for example, that there will be a strong process of experimentation, not only with local foods, but all foods, to develop new tastes, new products. I mean, all aspects of food preparation, and even our drinks. I mean, even the issue of mixology, there's no reason why, for example, we can't use local products or mangoes or pineapples and so on and make pineapple-infused drinks or coconut-infused drinks. The point I'm making here, we need more research and development in this area. So as you continue to have these competitions, perhaps part of your preparation should be more research and development to develop, let's say, food that can travel beyond the shores of Antigua and Barbuda. I also believe, too, that sometimes our outlook is too myopic. I'm a nationalist, but at the same time, you have to understand that if you limit talent, then it does not grow and develop. And then you also have to consider, too, that our space is such a small space with 100,000 people, that if you're going to have the type of growth and development, you have to prepare products that can go beyond the shores of Antigua and Barbuda. I'm sure that you have the talent, you have the skills, but perhaps maybe not the discipline in terms of the type of research and development. And generally speaking, the culture just doesn't exist within the country. So I would have held similar discussions with the Ministry of Tourism at a higher level. I'm not too sure if the information is filtering down, and that is why I'm having the discussion here with you now, because you're the practitioners. And I'm very happy that I have this opportunity to share these insights with you so that you can understand that you have an obligation to assist with the research and development. Just experiment. I mean, use different products in different foods and see how it tastes. I mean, if it doesn't taste good, you have dogs, right? Give it to the dogs. So at least you're not going to poison them. So again, I just want to encourage you to continue to refine your art form and to create products that those who visit our shows will enjoy, and even products that are exportable. What is happening is that we are attracting a lot of luxury properties on Ireland. I'm sure you'll be aware of Nabu in Barbuda. Nabu is currently under construction and will be open the first 50 rooms probably about next September, October. We also have Paradise Found that is operational and continues to expand and should expand for maybe another 8 to 10 years, getting up to about a $3 billion investment. We also have several other luxury properties to be constructed. So on Barbuda, we have a Rosewood Hotel to start construction in the first quarter of next year. There's also a Silver Sands to be constructed as well. Here in Antigua, I believe tomorrow, Calvin A will be launching his Nikki Beach Resort and Residences. So that should start construction by next year as well. And we also have a high-end Marriott to be constructed at the Uptons. That is pretty advanced. We got an update up to last week. Unfortunately, it was delayed by about 6 weeks because they made some adjustments to the plan and they had to go back to DCA to get final approval. So that should start in December. And in addition, we have a one and only resort to be built at Half Moon Bay. Now, the one and only brand is one of the most luxurious brands, hotel brands you'll find anywhere in the world. Already the developers have acquired over $100 million worth of land there, so they're committed. They advance with the drawings. And that project too should start, I would say, by first quarter of next year. Saying all this to say that my administration has attracted a significant amount of luxury properties. And what we're trying to do here too is to deliberately enhance the product here in Antigua and Barbuda. I can't tell you that I'm a fan of, and there's room for them, and I guess they need to be part of the product, but I'm not necessarily a fan of all-inclusive hotels, especially when you look at the pay generally within the sector. I felt that hotel salaries and wages have stagnated because in these all-inclusive properties, they squeeze their margins and they generally do not pay the type of salaries and wages that we like to see. To the extent now that there's a convergence of public sector pay and hotel pay. You find, for example, our minimum wage here in the public sector is probably about $1,800, but the average person may make probably about $2,500, $2,700, which is similar to what individuals make within the hotel sector. As a consequence, what is happening now within the country is that more hotel workers are seeking jobs within the public sector. And we just do not have the space to accommodate them because already we have too many people working in the public sector. But it's because, you have to put in far more effort in the hotel sector and you're not getting the type of rewards. Now, I'm not saying this to you to go and create any industrial unrest. Clearly, it's an issue that may take a little time to resolve, but our government is mindful that that gap that existed in the past between pay in the hotel sector and the public sector has been closed because those who operate these all-inclusive properties, they argue that their margins are so small that they can't give the type of increases in order to broaden that gap because, as I said, historically, the private sector has always made more money. Those in the private sector made more money than those in the public sector. So that is work in progress, and it is something that we, as a government, is agitating to change. You would wonder whether or not we are trade unionists. We just want to make sure that there's equity and fairness within the system and that hotel workers who can, get a decent pay, enjoy a mortgage, take care of their family. That is the objective. We want to make sure we have an inclusive society and certainly a society in which each Antiguan and Barbudan could thrive, that you can take care of your family members, that you can enjoy a reasonably good standard of living. And I'll add here, life will always be a struggle, so that is inescapable. Doesn't matter where you are, there will always be struggles, and I've always said to our people to embrace the struggle and surmount it, no matter whatever struggle you may be experiencing, even in terms of your pay. Just don't give up. There's some people who sometimes they give up, they say, oh, the pay is not enough, then they end up at home deciding not to work. And that's clearly a counterproductive position to take. So I'm saying all that to say that as we expand and improve the quality of the product, and we transition into these luxury properties, there'll be more opportunities for you to make more money. There will be better opportunities for you to hone your skills to prepare these excellent dishes and excellent drinks. So it is important for you to continue to develop your skills, and some of it too would be on your own effort. So even if the property that you work with is not putting in the effort, I mean, you have access to resources. I'm sure you have a stove at home, you have an oven at home. You can, do your own experimentation at home. And again, we'll continue to encourage your employers to make resources, not only resources in terms of the actual financing to support that type of research and development within the sector, but also to make expertise available. I would have said to a number of property owners, for example, that they have access to international chefs who can come here on a rotational basis, spend a week, and to ensure that there's a transfer of technology so that you can learn to cook different types of cuisines that are internationally marketable. And we have also asked Nobu, PLH, and we will also make this a requirement of all the others, Hermitage as well. In fact, Daniel Shimoon has been very cooperative to ensure that they provide opportunities for you to travel abroad. So there's also an opportunity for you to learn, to experience different cultures, different foods, and for you to also, acquire the skills to prepare foods that are even tastier than what we prepare today. So the government is going all out to expand and to improve this sector. And you ought to know that it's a very, very important sector, just as important as the sand, sea, and sun. Because at the end of the day, people probably, yes, they'll go to the beach and enjoy the beach, they'll enjoy the climate, but if they have a bad experience with the food, they ain't coming back. I have been to 1 or 2 hotel properties. I have to tell you, the food's so outrageous, right, that I'll return. And I'm not fussy about food, but it was really bad. I went to one particular hotel about 2 years ago, and I had some rice with steak. Steak had, the rice grains had. It didn't have much of a taste. I just find that the preparation was rushed and no attention was paid to the quality of the food. If that is the kind of product that we're going to continue to put out, then clearly the visitor experience will not be that good. A young lady there who went to Spain and stayed at Daniel's hotel in Spain. I'm sure you would have had the food there, and I want to tell you it's an absolute delight in terms of the different dishes. Using the same ingredients that we use on a daily basis, so there's nothing special in terms of the ingredients, just the preparation. You may have 1 or 2 little additional stuff like the truffle and so on that we don't use very often in our foods, but they're available here. They're available at Epicurean and so on. And in any case, you can import these things from Miami, get them in from on Amazon and so on, so they're accessible. But the point I'm making here is that when you have that type of experience and the food and drink is up to par, it is one of the important areas that visitors look forward to. So your role in our tourism product is quintessential to its growth and development, quintessential to the visitor experience, to ensure that we get repeat customers and that we get referrals based on that experience. Now, I'm also of the view too, and I don't want to go on, that on the basis that we take the necessary steps to advance our food and beverage, that we can use that as a competitive advantage, certainly within the Caribbean region. Because if Antigua and Barbuda is known for good food, a good experience, a good culinary experience, then people will come here. I don't know how many of you go to restaurants when you travel, but you travel and you hear about a really nice restaurant, Zuma's, the Nobu and so on, the Cipriani, and many other brands. You certainly want to go to experience it because they come well recommended. And there are many of these hotel, or let's say restaurant brands for that matter, that sell themselves. People travel from St. Barts and so on to Barbados to go to Nobu. You know why they do that? Because the food is good. So they'll take a chopper, paying probably about 8,000 to 9,000 EC dollars, or maybe 10 from St. Martin to Barbados, just to have a lunch that maybe costs about 1,000 EC. It's experience. And those are the type of people we want to come to our island to spend their money because they're not price sensitive. Even the tips and so on that they give, hotel workers are significant compared to these low-end tourists that a taxi man charge them extra $10 and make big fuss and so on. I'm sure you all remember some years ago, one of them, some cruise tourists took his hungry bird, I think they call him, took his taxi and they were quibbling over 10 EC. It ended up being a big issue because the Carnival cruise ship at the time, in fact, we were in opposition when that happened, they withdrew the Carnival ship because of the stink that these tourists made about $10. So, again, we need your help to help us to reposition our product and to make it a most delightful tourism product. And the critical issue is the food. People, generally speaking, eat 3 times a day. They go to the beach once, but they go to eat at least 3 times a day. So they want to make sure they have a good experience, and you're critical to their experience. Having said that, I certainly want to, give our full support for you, your team, and for what you're doing, and certainly to support the local initiative that we'll be having this month on the Wadadi Day, and any support that we can give to you to participate in the Caribbean experience that will be held in Miami next month. Let us know, because we want to make sure that Antiguans and Barbadians continue to outshine the peers. And I am always of the view, I don't know if I'm prejudiced in terms of my own belief in the Antiguan and Barbadian talent, but I believe that it is inferior to none, and if anything, experience as superior to many. So it's for you now to step up your game and have the discipline to even do your own research and development, produce better foods, and encourage others to do otherwise. And those of you who are mentors and so on, we need your help, because again, even in the local restaurant space, if they're going to increase and sustain their product, they have to do better than what they're doing now, rather than them big ball of rice and they slap a whole, not a ball of fungi and they slap a whole ton of rice on your plate and so on. And I'll comment on that. Considering the prevalence of NCDs and so on, issue of more balanced, smaller plating of different types of foods, proteins, and the starch and so on, we have to pay more attention. Thank you very much, and I hope I didn't come across as lecturing you, but I just thought I'll use the opportunity to appeal to you in terms of how significant your role is in our food industry, food and beverage industry, especially in the hotel sector, and even for all of you to be examples to even those who operate their local restaurants to do better, not only with their presentation, but certainly with even the quantities that they place in our plates, than this excessive amount of starch. Thank you again.